sorry.
Thanks for protecting us, though. I like the mask, that we all feel safe. Yeah, we see your screen.
Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about is a variety of tools. Dirk has gone quite deeply into the SANEF dashboard, but I will touch on it further. So less than 2 weeks to go. So everyone's going to be chasing the same stories. An enterprising journalist is going to look outside of the traffic. But where do you find the stories? What tools do you have available? So again, the SANEF dashboard, and inside the dashboard, you've got a series of indicators. You've got a full summary, you can go to election, you can have demographics, you can really dig quite deeply into a community to get the profile of a community, their living environment, the financial performance, how do people live, economic environment, where do they get money from, what is their situation, their education, service delivery. Before I actually go into it, on the dashboard, when you go to the dashboard, there's some really, really good resources here. Some excellent resources. I know that Isaac touched on them. I just want to reinforce what Isaac said. And by the way, Dirk touched on boundary changes. Check your wards. There's a story there. You know, he showed us a ward. He showed us a municipality that had a ward added. Why did it have the ward added? You know, and sometimes when a ward is added, you get gerrymandering, where it happens a lot in the US. It's happening in South Africa, that municipalities that were formed that can't stand on their own. Wards added. Have they moved a whole bunch of DA people into a ward that the ANC had before, or vice versa? It's worth investigating that. Sorry, I'm just going to share my screen. I don't want to share my WhatsApp. So here we are looking at the election dashboard. And we're gonna search for a municipality. So I am going to search for Vereniging, which is now known as Enfuleni. Now before we go on, this is based on a story that Steve Kretzmann, a Cape Town-based journalist who's been doing a series of reporting on the election. And why I'm wanting to show this is Steve has used the different tools before he went, because all this stuff, the tools do the heavy lifting. They're not going to do your reporting. They will help you give context to your reporting. They will also indicate what you should be looking for when you get to a place. And this is exactly what he's done. Having done his pre-research, so he's used a multiplicity of tools. He's used Google Street View to have a look at that, to be able to illustrate what's going on there. He's gone to the town. He's interviewed people on the ground. I'm waiting for a section. I'm looking for a section here. So Google is your friend. There was a report to Parliament Select Committee on this very municipality. For the finances, again, Google is your friend. He's found a report that this municipality owns. So these are all hyperlinks, which will take you to the source of what he is saying. MoneyWeb is reported. He's then gone to a tool called Municipal Money, which I will demonstrate to you now shortly. The municipality spent 25% more than planned of its operating budget, and it underspent on its capital budget. If you're underspending on capital budget, you're not doing repairs. And he goes into the entire background. So let me now go back to, so this is an indication of how these tools have been used. Sorry, what was it called in Fulani? And there we are. We're already in Fulani. On the rich data view, we have a summary by age, etc. So Dirk went through the election stuff. I'm very interested in the demographics. So every 10 years, South Africa holds a census. They're in the field currently for the 2021 census. 2011 is already long in the tooth. In between the 10 years of a census, after 5 years, they do a community survey, a halfway. These censuses are used for government planning, for allocation of funding. So we can add by population group. We can break it up into sex. Now, it's looking at the ages of the people living in this area. When you put your cursor on any of these bars, it'll again tell you, I'm looking at 0 to 14 children, comprise 26% of the people living in that area. But 26% of what? 26% is meaningless. The universe of children, the 26% is 188.8 thousand children. Age groups. 49% of the people who live in this area. So what I'm showing now is stuff that will help you enrich your reporting. It'll add context to your reporting. It does not replace actual reporting on the ground. If you're working online, television, print, you can actually save this image. I think it saves as a JPEG, if I'm correct, but it's reproduction quality. You can switch between percentages and values. Values are actual numbers or percentages, but you can always point your cursor. If you're going to download it, I would always say, rather put the number. You can explain what the percentage is, because honestly, percentages are meaningless. So 85% of the people who are living in this municipality are Black African. 12% are white. There's a very small 1% of colored. And there are the numbers. The age groups as we go. So that's the demographics. So financial performance, unauthorized, irregular, unauthorized, fruitless and wasteful spending. 2012, 4.1% of the total budget was fruitless and wasteful. By 2017-18, and this municipality, not only is it deep in the poo, but figuratively and literally, it hasn't reported for 2020. They just don't have the capacity. They have not met the deadline. By 2017-18, 16.38% of the budget had gone on fruitless and wasteful. Always below the indicator, it'll explain to you what it's about, and it'll tell you what the source is. So another thing about this municipality, current debt collection rate. People are not paying their rates. 2017-18, only 66.1%. But so they have reduced it. It was at 81.9, 2015-16, which would be the 2016 financial year, reduced to 69.7, and they keep reducing. But the fact of the matter is they are budgeting for money to do work. If the money is not coming in, how do you do the work? Plus money is being wasted. So the income source, locally generated. Over the years, you can see how much is locally generated. And transfers is the money that they get from the equitable share of our taxes that they get from central government. Spending on capital budget. Look how they're underspending on capital budget. Now, capital budget is service delivery ultimately. Are you putting in sewage plants? Are you putting in new roads? Are you fixing stuff? They're underspending. And again, the reason that they're underspending is they're not collecting the money that they're budgeting for. And a lot of the money that they are collecting is being wasted. The operating budget shows the percentage by which the actual operating expenditure was in excess of budgeted. So 2017-18, they sent 25% more than they budgeted. This municipality, this is an indication that this municipality is in a real mess. The data is showing us. You've got to go there to see it. This is giving us an overview. It's in answer to the question we were just asked. It's giving us the overview of the income of the people there, living there. I mean, 9% of those people have no income, report no income. The question is, how are you surviving with no income? They're hustling. They're begging, they're borrowing. From here, this is pretty much government, this is pretty much grants, 426% of the people. Employment. So a discouraged work seeker is someone who's just given up. 28% are employed, 24% not actively employed. This is on the 2011. We'll always have the source there. Education. We're looking at education. This is a good one. Service delivery. I'm sorry the type is so lack of safe and reliable water supplies. 4%, 29,000 people in that municipality. Cost of water is another reason that people, hello, Azra. Cost of electricity is another reason people are giving. And so we go through the list. I'm not going to linger much further. So there's service delivery. Now, a lot of this data is based on this tool. Municipal money, I'm sure Becky will. Oh, by the way, what is very useful is when you're out in the field on a municipality, if you've got your data switched on, it'll go to your actual, I'm not exactly sure why Enfulani is not coming up. Okay, so I'm going to go to this municipality in Corbo in the Eastern Cape. Now, here we have all the contacts for the municipality, the name of the municipality and the municipal manager, email address, telephone numbers, the municipal secretary. This is very useful. This is a very powerful tool. There's a video explaining it. Now, audit outcomes. Read the detail. The detail is in the data. The Auditor General, these reports have all been brought together. and there is an explanation throughout of what the different ones mean. But as journalists, we need to, so no report available there. Hasn't been filed on time, but you can actually download the report and see the detail of what has been found. If we don't read, we're not journalists. The cash balance that the municipality has, and every single time it'll give you about this indicator, what it means. The cash coverage, months of operating expenses can be paid with cash available. Again, there it is. There's a video. But what we are seeing here is another municipality in trouble. It's not reporting. It's overspent grossly. 2017, last time it reported, it overspent by 2,304%. I mean, Dirk, can that be correct? That's a huge overspend. They 33.3% underspend on capital budget. Now, capital budget is all about service delivery. Spending on infrastructure projects like new water pipes, building libraries, etc. if you see underspending on capital budget, it means the municipality is way behind with service delivery. Again, there's a video. Now, this for me, the spending on capital projects. So they were going to spend 3.5 million rand on community assets. When I click on it, the budget was for 2019, 23.5, 2021, 3.69, 3.4, 21, 22. This is where eyes on the ground are so important. These capital projects. So that's reporting that Steve Kretzmann, incredible reporting he's been doing. He has been looking at these and then going to towns, municipalities. He went to look for, I think it was a municipality called Zua. They spent something like 40 million rand, or they budgeted for close to 50 million rand for a new sewage works. They were in the 3rd year of the cycle. So this thing was almost finished, was a 4-year project. On the ground, he found absolutely nothing. There was nothing there. It was just this derelict, you know, there is no substitute. And then, so as you go through muni money, will take you through all the different elements where a municipality's money comes from. Look at this. The percentage of new revenue generated with the financial year that a municipality actually collects. I mean, they've only collected 67.59%. You know, you can't do work. You're wasting money. You're wasting money, and then you're not collecting the money that you owed. Where does money come from? Transfers, equitable share, locally generated. So locally generated, as we go, there are the income sources, service charges, interest, investments, fines. By the way, if you live in a municipality that is very close to a national highway, have a look at fines. It's one of the ways that they're generating income. And they're spending an awful lot of money. Another tool that I'll show you very, very quickly. So in this case, I'm going to look at my current location. And I live in Cape Town, but I'm in Northwest at the moment, Muddy Bang, wherever you go, the roads are a mess. They're a total mess. There are potholes. This is going to give us, so you've got elements of all of this in the SANEF dashboard, but this is the greater breakdown. There is the municipality. You can go from where you click, you'll get each of the wards. I've gone the ward where I am. There's the population, that's the size of it, and that's the per square kilometer. I can change the census to 2011 if I want to. Here are the election results for this municipality. By the way, all these resources and links to them will be shared with you. So don't panic. I'm sure Becky is already, but they will be shared with you as well, and our presentations. Election data for the 2011 municipality, voters by party, that seems to be a duplicate for some reason. Number of registered voters, the median age. People are very young in this area. There's not a lot of old people here. Very young. The language is Setswana. There's a breakup of the language that is spoken here. 93% of the people here come from South Africa. 95% of them are South African citizens. So households. So here, households that are in formal dwellings, that's 34.9%. Now on the chart option, you can see 53 live in houses, backyards, 8%, and you'll get the actual numbers. So we can change with, so if you're doing a story online, you can either, so they are the actual figures where I've said, show data. This embed, if you want to put it on a website, you take that embed code that is there and you put it on, you can align it normal, left or right on your website. Excuse me. And it'll come up on your website interactive like that. The type of dwellings we've got, how many people owns their home. There are 1,884 households with heads under 18 years old. It's then making comparisons to the rest of Bonjala, that's the district, and Northwest. The household income, what people own, interestingly, every television, stoves, fridges, cell phones always comes out on top. When we are getting to service delivery, this is showing us where people are getting water from. Again, chart options, we can explore the data. Now, this is a very, very interesting on exploring the data. Let's switch to totals so we know what we're looking at. Now, distribution, I clicked on the, and you can always get the download, the data, but on distribution, supply of water, a municipality, there's the highest in South Africa. Northwest, 68% are getting from there. Are people getting from a water vendor? They don't know. People who are getting water from a stream. Now, the minimum, if I go into an actual municipality, it will show me where to go and look for stuff. So I'm not going to go much more. The last thing I'm going to show you, because Becky's about to shout at me and tell me to finish up, is this tool has just been updated. It's called Pocket Reporter. All the tools that you are seeing today are Mobi friendly. So if you are in an area and you want to know about that area, with municipal money, you literally say, oh, Wazi map. Wazi map is another one which gives us a profile of an area. Just say my location. Sorry, this is. Oh, again, we just did Wazi map. So the final one is Pocket Reporter. It is also Mobi friendly. We don't have all the languages up, but the tool is being built and we'll keep adding. So there are several. There's Cosa. It's an open source tool. Some people in Portugal are using it. Spain have contributed. So I'm just going to go with English. And what we have here are election resources, South Africa, contesting parties, lists of candidates. Each one of there, you can go and get the list. It's a PDF. You can get the list. If data is a problem, do it. Don't do it using your data. Do it when you've got a Wi-Fi connection. Election planning coverage. An election is in 3 parts. Before the election, election day, and what most people forget is after the election. This is a pretty good checklist of what you need to do before the election, election day, post-election period. There's the press code, there's an election handbook, and then I want to go to this one. So what this one will say is on election day. So I've clicked on election day and I'm going to call it election 1, and I create it. And what it does is it gives me a series, a template of questions to ask so that I don't go back to the office not having collected the information. Additional notes. This is something many journalists forget. Contact details. Once you are finished, now you don't register for this. We have no record of who you are. It's a security issue. So if you lose the information, you lose it. It is not held on a database. It's really a security issue because many people who are using this tool are in parts of the world where security is an issue. Once you've completed it, you can either send it via email or you can send it via WhatsApp. So once you've filled in all this stuff, or if you've got correspondents in the field, you can get them to use this. And then they send the filled in information to the news editor to a designated, you tell them what number to send it to. Always send it to yourself as well. Once you have finished, if security is an issue, just delete it. And then I'm going to wrap up here, but the last thing, so if you go, this is not only an election tool, guys, hard news, covering a motor accident, covering a fire, how many people are dead and injured? Were there any acts of bravery or rescue? And so it goes on. And it always ends up additional notes, contact details of people. It reminds you to get people's contact details. So this tool has got a multiplicity of crime stories, covering a news conference, gender violence, service delivery, covering a protest march, lack of water, sanitation issues, and then finally, health services, specific illness. All of them are templates that you can fill in when you're out. And I've noticed that young reporters use their phones as notebooks. This is a great way to collect the information and you will have nothing missing. I think, Becky, that's it.